Hey everybody, Matt Covey from Suburban Canine. Today I'm here with Brie, and I'm going to show you how to calm down a crazy puppy. So Brie, as you see her right now, she's super sweet and calm. She's a good dog, but she's wild. She loves to do anything you can imagine. She loves to bark, steal things, run away, make you chase her, all of that stuff. And part of our training, she loves to steal things off the ground and swallow them compulsively. I mean, all this stuff, you name it. And part of our training is working on this and getting the dog to the point where they don't want to do those things, right? They're just a calmer dog and they, are able to control their impulses. So I'm going to show you some of the things we work on. First, I'm going to show you a little bit of loose leash walking. This is so crucial. I see so many people try to work on come with their puppy. No, so now she's nibbling my hand. I'm just going to stop that. But people try to work on come or stay or all these things, and the dog's nutso on leash. You have to fix that first. So let me show you what this looks like. Now, as I do this, I'm not teaching a competition heel. Brie, heel. Come on, girl. I use the word heel, but good girl, Brie. What I want is that she's generally with me. Come on, Brie, heel. I don't use treats for this part of the process unless, good girl, Brie, let's go. Unless the dog is really nervous. I don't use them to build excitement with a dog like Brie. Brie, heel. Come on, girl, because she's already excited. She doesn't need that. I don't hold a ball or a toy here. Come on, Brie. Because here, all that's going to do is create more excitement in the dog, and that is not what I want. So what I want is this. Come on, Brie. Let's go. Heel. And I'm not super strict. Notice I don't need her looking at me the whole time. Come on, Brie. Heel. I don't need her like exactly at my heel. Lagging a little bit's awesome. Good girl, Brie. And I'm just keeping her in this position. When she gets out of position, Brie, heel. Let's go. Come on, girl. I'll give little tugs. So if she's too far back, I might give a little tug forward. If she's ahead of me, I'll give a tug back and tell her heel. Come on, Brie, let's go. And notice I try not to sound like a broken record, so it's not going to be heel, heel, heel the entire time. Talk to her. So I'm just telling her, good girl, come on. And if she gets out of position, I give that little tug and tell her heel. This is so huge. Good girl. With a little puppy, Brie's 14 weeks old. I do what I call micro sessions. So I'm not going to train her for I'm not going to train her for an hour straight. I'm not even going to train her for 30 minutes or 10 minutes straight. What I'll do is I'll train, and then we take a little break. I tell her free, I pet her, I let her choose something, and then we go back to training. The idea is I keep her engaged and semi-excited without getting her too wild and crazy. So we have other videos on loose leash walking. If you need more, definitely watch one of them. But whatever you're trying to do with your dog, no, Brie, start here. All right, let's talk about the sit command. Sit is something, and I'm just watching her as I make the video because I'm trying to make sure she's not going to chew the leash or do something crazy. But sit is something, people don't have trouble teaching their dog what sit means. So what they usually will do is take a treat, hold it above the dog's head, tell them sit, dog does, and they give them the treat. That's fine, nothing wrong with that at all. I'm not a huge treat trainer, I'm not opposed to it, but it's usually I try to get a dog to work for praise, I just like that better. But where people struggle is how do you phase out the treat? How do you go from a dog who, you're in the house, you hold this treat, they do it, you give it to them, and everything's great, to now you're out for a walk and you tell them sit, and they actually do it, and they sit at the heel position. Most dogs, I'm checking what she's trying to eat here. Oh, Brie. Most dogs don't make that transition on their own. At some point, you have to establish, hey, you need to listen to me, so I'm going to show you how to do that. Brie, heel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask her to sit. So as I come to a stop, I'm just going to tell her, Brie, sit. Good job, little puppy. So obviously that's what I'm looking for. She's basically in the heel position. She's pretty much facing forward. I said her name and sit. She did it. So of course she gets praise. Brie, heel. Timing matters here. So let me show you what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to be walking her and everything's going well. Then out of nowhere, you say, Brie, sit. And then, good girl, she did it. She's listening, but she's nowhere near, she's nowhere near no, Brie. So that was for the little nipping she was trying to do. She's nowhere near the heel position, right? But that was completely my fault. Brie, heel. So what I want you to do, Brie, heel. That little tug there was for her going down to bite something off the ground. She's pretty compulsive with it, so we're working really hard on fixing it, because when she gets sticks, she swallows them, which obviously is not great for her. But anyways, back to sit. What I'll do is I'll talk to her as I'm slowing down. So it would look like this. Brie, sit. Good girl. With the idea that she gets a second or two to process. I don't want to surprise her. Now, you might have the question of, okay, like that's all well and good, but what if she doesn't sit? So don't negotiate. So what I would say is teach the dog sit first in the house. I don't care if it's with a treat, or I mentioned I don't use a lot of treats. A lot of times, you just like, taking a ball or your hand and doing this and telling them sit, just getting their attention up. They'll be like wagging their tail, trying to figure out what it is you're doing, and they'll naturally sit, and then you can praise them. But what do you do when you get out here and you're walking and the dog will not sit? You tell them to sit and they just ignore you. I would guide them into the sit position. So let me show you what I mean by that. I'm just going to go ahead and guide her. So pretend I told her sit and she chose not to. I would just do this and then I would tell her sit. Now you might look at that and say, hey, I've been told never to, push a dog down by their butt. And I would agree with that. Like, Brie, don't fight the dog. Don't shove down on their hips. If you are, that's a problem. So this isn't like, sit and you're fighting her to the ground. This is soft pressure. Brie, come on. So again, I'm going to show you, I'm not going to tell her to sit because she's doing so well. I'm just going to kind of guide her. So pretend I told her to sit. She ignored me completely. I would just then stop her and then I would tell her, Brie, sit. Up here and down there, not a ton of force either way. So you're not like pulling hard up on the neck, you're not pushing hard down on the butt. It's gentle like this. If you've done your prep work, it's gonna be easy. If she can, loose leash walk and she already knows sit, this isn't gonna be hard. You're more likely to have issues where like she throws herself on her back and like it turns into a wrestling match. If that's the case, tell her heel, get up, walk a minute and do it again. Or maybe they get really far out of position. So let's say you told them sit and they like ended up here. And you look and you're thinking like, well, how am I supposed to get her back to my side? You've got a few options. One, my least favorite is kind of like pull them back to the side. That creates a lot of fighting, just a lot of like fun fights for the dog, but a lot of wrestling. Another is take the leash and kind of tell them heel and bring them around. That's great. It's pretty advanced. It can be hard. So you can you can get in a situation where you're pulling the dog back and it turns into a battle. The easiest is just repeat. So let's say I was trying to walk this way. I got this messy little sit. I don't like it and I want to fix it. I might just do this. Brie, heel. Come on, girl. And I make my little turn. Come on, Brie. And I try it again. Brie, sit. And I get my good one. And if she didn't do well and she snuck around and I'm trying to like stop her and it doesn't work, I would just repeat and do it as many times as it takes until you get what you want. Okay, let's talk about the stay command. This is the command a lot of people don't get because they start it when it's too late. If you start working on this, like when the doorbell rings, you're trying to make your dog stay, it's way too late to proof the command. It's definitely too late to teach the command at that point. You need to teach it now because here she's been healing, she's been sitting. This is an easy time to work with your dog. So let me show you how we begin. So it's very, very simple at the start. All I do is I pivot and I'm gonna tell her, stay. And then I'll pivot back and I'll tell her, free. Brie, free. There you go. That's pretty good. So you can see she didn't get up right away when she heard free. Brie, heel. Dogs need to learn that. It takes time for them to learn what free means. So let me do this again. I'll show you. Come on, Brie, heel. Sit. All right, so here we got a crooked sit. She's not doing it to be bad, but I want to fix this. I want her to learn to, to always be kind of healing and focusing forward. So I'm going to try just kind of nudging her. And the goal is not perfection. It's just, this is better than it was, right? And I don't care that she gives her hip. To me, it is so pointless to try to make your dog sit like this. Who cares? But I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna tell her, Brie, stay. I do that pivot, and then I go back to her side, and I tell her, Brie, free. Hey, Brie, free. There you go. So you can see it took a little leash pressure to get her up that time. And if you heard me tell her no, it's because she was going to nibble my hand. Brie, heel. Come on, girl. Let's do it. So as you work on this, do 10 or 20 of these in a row. Brie, sit. No. Come on, girl. Heel. Come on. Brie, sit. There you go. Stay. So you see we got the crooked sit again. And I went to walk off and I thought better of it. I'm just going to try to fix this. Just to kind of nudge her. And in theory, I was facing you, so I want her basically facing you. Stay. So I do that pivot. So after you've done 10 or 20 of just that little pivot, try walking a circle around her until you can do this. Brie, free. Hey, free. There you go. Good job, little puppy. No. And you could see once again, when I put my hand out, her first thought is like to put her mouth on it. And I just told her no, and she stopped, and end of story. If she quit, stops that easily. Brie, heel. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab her ball from over here. This is a big distraction. Come on, Brie. For her, she likes to chase her ball. Come on, Brie, heel. Sit. Good. Stay. So I tell her stay. So now as I toss this ball, I don't care if she gets up. I don't want her running away from me. If she breaks it, my hope is when she hears the word no, that she stops and she listens. So there, she did great. I'm gonna go get the ball and kind of keep an eye on her at the same time. So dogs make mistakes, obviously, that's very normal. What I'd like to see, and I'll explain why in a minute, but what I'd like to see when I say no, that she stops. And the reason for that, I'll just kind of explain while I'm doing this, is obviously I'm not faster than the dog. So if she's in a stay like 20 yards away and she breaks, I want her to stop when I say no. I don't want to have to chase her because that's not going to go well. But on top of that, she's a wild puppy. So in the house, she steals things and runs and she barks and she jumps and she chews up everything. She does a lot of naughty things. And my goal is, no, Brie. So they're phenomenal. I could not be happier with that response. Brie, sit. Stay. So I told her no, and she stopped. So now I want to free her up. Brie, free. Hey, Brie, free. Good girl. And I want her to come to me. So I'm not going to free her up and just, hopefully I'm still in scene here, but I'm not going to free her up and then just let her chase that ball. Because then, hey, Brie, it basically just becomes the wait command, and wait's not super useful. To me, Brie, heel stay is way more useful. Brie, heel, I want her to wait. Brie, heel, hey, Brie, heel, and actually wait and stay in that position, and then heel, Brie, heel. So notice now she's kind of out of training mode for a minute, but as I kind of get her back in training mode, what I want is I want her to stay in that position, and when I free her up, I want her to think about me, because imagine if you put her, Brie, sit. Let's say you put her, I'm gonna fix this, into a sit stay. And the reason for it was there was a squirrel somewhere. Well, when you say free, do you want her to like run away and chase the squirrel? Probably not, right? So when she hears free, I'd like her conditioned to come to me. So all of this stuff you work on every single day. And I want you to think about this for a moment. As you work on this and you walk, now you know, when you have loose leash walking, you can heel the dog in the house. So if all of a sudden, you know, she's excited about kids, right? If kids go running through the house and she's crazy, instead of just like chasing her and trying to stop her, you could put her leash on, tell her heel, and walk her till she's calm. And then when she's calm, drop your leash or take it off if she's super calm. Now, let's say you've done that and then you want to kind of advance your training and get her calmer. Practice some sit stays on leash once you've gotten her calm. And then of course you could practice your stay command. And as you proof that word no, and you got to see that one time she did it really well for me when I told her no and she actually stopped, think about how powerful that's going to be. So now you're in the house and she does something that you don't want her to. She grabs a sock, which is like one of Brie's favorite things in the world to do, and she goes to run off. When you say no, she's way more likely to actually stop, right? Hear no and drop that sock rather than make you chase her throughout the house. I hope this is helpful. Reach out with questions.